Myself, Dr. Sant Kishore Prasad, University Department of Chemistry, NPU, Medininagar. Good afternoon, all of you of this group, that is PG Chemistry, semester 2nd, paper CC4 group. In continuation of the previous class, today we will study other terminology related to classical thermodynamics. Other terminology is first temperature and heat. The temperature of a body is a measure of its degree of hotness or coldness. Heat is another mode by which a system can exchange energy with the surroundings by virtue of temperature difference only. Or we may say that the agent that causes a change in the temperature is termed as heat. It is denoted by a small q or capital Q. Heat-like work is not a state function, but it depends on the path followed. It is an algebraic quantity, and so it must be expressed with some sign. Positive sign, that is plus Q, denotes heat is absorbed by the system from the surroundings, and minus Q denotes, that is negative sign, denotes heat is given by the system to the surroundings. Heat is another form of energy, since it can yield work or can be produced from work, but heat is somewhat different from other forms of energy, such as electrical or chemical. All other forms of energy can be completely transformed into work and are interconvertible also. But heat cannot be wholly converted into work. Any attempt to convert the whole of a quantity of heat would affect a permanent change in the system or the neighboring systems. There is another aspect of heat which requires attention. When two objects with different temperatures come together, one with the higher temperature loses heat energy and the other gains it. That is, energy in the form of heat flows from a higher to a lower temperature. Hence, heat is energy in transit. Only during the process of flow we are conscious of this form of energy. But when the flow ceases, we do not speak about the heat present in a body. Heat in a body is meaningless. What may be present in a body is the energy. This energy, by outflow of heat, would be decreased and would be increased by inflow of heat. Likewise, It would be incorrect to speak about work in a system. The system during a physical or chemical change may yield work at the expense of energy. Units of heat. Celsius unit of heat is calories, which is defined as quantity of heat required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water through 1 degree centigrade. This is called 1 calorie. In SI system, its unit is joule, which is denoted by capital J. 1 calorie is equal to 4.184 joule. Some notations and symbols related to heat, internal energy, volume. May be described by delta, capital delta. If an appreciable and measurable change take place, for example, capital delta is denoted by a sign of triangle. So delta E, delta V, delta Q denotes appreciable and measurable change in these quantities. But a small change is shown by a small d, that is a small de, a small dv, etc. However, a small change in such properties which do not depend on a state is indicated by the symbol a small delta. For example, a small delta Q, a small delta W, etc. These are properties which depend on path. The symbol log is used for logarithm to the base 10 and ln for logarithm to the base e. These two are related as log x to the base e equal to 2.303 log x to the base 10 or ln x equal to 2.303 log x. Thus, ln is abbreviated form of logarithms, naturally is log e. When a perfect gas expands isothermally and reversibly from a volume V1 to V2, amount of work done, capital W, is equal to 2.303 nRT log V2 by V1, and this is equal to 2.303 nRT log P1 by P2, where capital R is universal gas constant, a small n is number of moles of gas. P1 and P2 denote pressure in two states, that is in initial state and final states. Work done in adiabatic expansion of an ideal gas is given by capital W equal to N capital R into capital T2 minus capital T1 divided by 1 minus gamma, where gamma equal to Cp by Cv. Ratio of two heat capacity. This becomes equal to minus Cv into T2 minus T1. Cp and Cv denote heat capacity of gas at constant pressure and constant volume respectively. Now come to the other terminology: universe, system, surroundings, boundary. First of all, we know universe. Since in the definition of system, the term universe comes. The universe is defined as all existing matter and a space considered as a whole is called universe or cosmos. In Hindi it is called Brahmand. The universe is believed to be at least 10 billion light years in diameter and contains a vast number of galaxies. It has been expanding since its creation in the Big Bang about 13 billion years ago. Now come to system. System is defined as the part of the universe under study. Surroundings. The rest parts of the universe which are present externally to the system are called surroundings. And the space separating the system from its surrounding is termed as boundary. We may illustrate these terms. A cylinder containing a gas or liquid is placed in a thermostat bath maintained at constant temperature, say 25 degrees Celsius. In this case, the gas in the cylinder is system. Since the gas is under a study, what is the temperature of gas, what is the pressure of gas, what is the amount of gas. So gas is system. If temperature is changed, its pressure, its volume will also change. So gas kept in the cylinder or liquid kept in a pot is as an example of system. Cylinder is boundary and the water present in the thermostat is surroundings. Now, as we come across various types of systems as well as walls or boundaries, it becomes essential to define some important types of walls. A rigid wall. This is the wall whose shape and position are fixed. Another type of boundary, that is wall, is an impermeable wall. This is the wall which does not permit the passage of matter but permit energy. Such type of wall is called impermeable wall. Permeable wall. Such type of wall which permits the passage of matter and matter and also of energy is called permeable wall. Fourth is diathermal wall or diathermic wall. The walls which may allow the transmission of heat energy through them into or out of the system are called diathermal. Thus, these walls are impermeable. A metal can is an example of this, whose walls are diathermal. An adiabatic wall. Boundary walls which do not permit the passage of matter or energy are called adiabatic walls. Thermos bottle is an interesting example of it. Now come to the types of system. The various systems are of following types. First, real system. In experimental work, the system is called real system. Second is ideal system. In pencil and paper work, the system treated is called ideal. To simplify the thermodynamic problems, it is always useful to consider an ideal system. Open system. A system which can exchange both matter and energy with the surroundings is called open system. For example, if some water is kept in a beaker or in any open vessel, exchange of both matter, that is water vapor, and energy takes place between the system and the surroundings. So, this is an example of open system. Fourth type of system is closed system. A system which can exchange only energy but not matter with the surroundings is called a closed system. For example, if some water is placed in a closed metallic vessel, no exchange of matter between the system and the surroundings can take place, but exchange of heat energy can take place between the system and surroundings through the conducting walls of the vessel. Isolated system. A system is said to be isolated when it can exchange neither matter nor energy with the surroundings. The system is called isolated system. For example, water placed in a closed and insulated pot does not permit exchange of matter or energy between system and the surrounding. So this is an example of isolated system. Homogeneous system. A system is said to be homogeneous when only one phase is involved, that is, it is completely uniform throughout. For example, a gas or a mixture of gases or a pure liquid or a pure solid or a solution of a solid in a liquid or a mixture of miscible liquids. These are examples of homogeneous system. Next system is heterogeneous system. Hetero means different. A system which is not uniform throughout is said to be heterogeneous. It consists of two or more phases which are separated from each other by definite boundaries. For example, mixture of solid and liquid, solid and gas, liquid and its vapor, two immiscible liquids, etc. Microscopic system. A system containing a large amount of the substance, that is having large number of the particles, atoms, ions or molecules, is called microscopic system. Now come to the microscopic properties. A property associated with the collective behavior of particles in a microscopic system is called a microscopic property. Pressure, volume, temperature, surface tension, viscosity, density, refractive index, etc. are few examples of microscopic properties. Now come to a state of the system or a state function and a state variables. The condition of a system is called a state of a system. When the various microscopic properties like pressure, volume, temperature, etc. of the system have been assigned definite values. The first and the last state of the system are called initial state and final state respectively. A state function. Any property that depends only on the state of the system is called a state function. A state variables. The state of a system is defined in terms of certain properties known as state variables. The four most common microscopic properties which are used to define the state of a system are composition, pressure, volume and temperature. If these properties are fixed, all other physical properties of the system are automatically fixed. Now come to the property of a system. The physical properties which are experimentally measurable and which enable us to define a system are called thermodynamic parameters or properties of a system. Various properties such as composition, volume, pressure, temperature, viscosity, refractive index, etc. may be associated with the system, but ordinarily the first four, namely composition, volume, pressure and temperature, are of fundamental importance. The properties of the system fall in two classes. First is extensive properties. Properties which depend on the quantity of the matter contained in the system are called extensive properties. Mass, volume, energy, heat capacity, quantity of current, internal energy, etc. are some examples of extensive properties. Now, intensive properties. The properties which depend only upon the nature of the substance and not on the amount of the substance present in the system are called intensive properties. Important examples of intensive properties are temperature, pressure, refractive index, viscosity, density, surface tension, a specific heat, potential difference, etc. Interestingly, an extensive property may become intensive property by specifying unit amount of the substance concerned. Thus, mass and volume are extensive properties, but density, which is equal to mass divided by volume, here volume is taken as unit. Then this becomes intensive property. Heat capacity is an extensive property, but a specific heat is intensive property. Other terminology we will study in the next class. Thank you.